the brother that was in Minnesota, who was shot while pulled over. While I think his girlfriend and child was in the car.
He legally was carrying an illegal firearm. Was that the?
That was the supposed thing where I guess he told them that hey, I have a firearm, and they just opened fire. But he was pulled over initially for a broken taillight.
Totally.
So I remember I was coming home from teaching part-time in San Francisco. I was coming home, Bart, and I wanted to, as soon as I got off Bart, drive over to Cheesecake Factory and get my wife a slice of cheesecake for her birthday, to celebrate. I had a taillight out that night. It had been out for a couple weeks, and I was just like, I'll get it fixed whenever. I was nervous. I didn't go. I went straight home.
Didn't you?
Because I was like, this broken taillight could put me in a really bad situation.
It opens the door for them to allow to engage with you.
Right. And that all ties back into that summer was particularly brutal. We had Philando Castile. It's crazy that we can name names of this continuing to happen, but it was several that happened this summer. I think what's his name? Something Scott that was in South Carolina happened that summer as well. But where I work, we typically get a lot of HBCU students, and I have my own gripes about that. Won't go into that. But we have a lot of HBCU students that come every summer. And I'm really happy about that part. Coming. A lot of times that is their first time because, most of the HBCUs are based in the South. So a lot of times that's their first time out of the South. They're thousands of miles away from home.
And Silicon Valley.
Right. They don't know anyone out here. They're coming out here, hopefully to, get a better experience and stuff like that. So, and I was just seeing research because that summer, it was several of those things happening all through on the news. And I was just reading about how there's research about how it can affect you mentally to keep being exposed to it. So I even reached out to one of the people, in my workplace and asking, like, are y'all talking to the students at all? Because a lot of them are from the areas where these things keep happening and they're thousands of miles away from home. Are y'all checking on them? It's like, oh, no, I hadn't even thought about that. I don't watch the news. So what I did, I went and one of the interns I knew well, who was working for me at the time, I said, go gather up everybody. We're going to get this room. We're going to close the door and we're going to let everybody just talk out their emotions.
About what's going on this summer.
And a lot of people had a lot of strong things to say. And it was like, I felt like I couldn't express this. And it was hurtful because, we all look, it can be me or it could be somebody that I know. So, but no one was really thinking about how they were feeling. So I said, we're going to close this door for this next hour. And whatever you got to say, however you feel, if you're hurt, if you're angry, if you're sad, say it and it doesn't go beyond this door. But when you don't have representation
or someone in leadership
who thinks about those type of things when things are happening, even outside of just, the black community, so I know we're focusing on the black community because I'm part of the black community. That's why I'm focused. But
welcome.
Right. Even the things that are going on right now with people being split up from their families.
Totally.
If that's obviously got to affect your employees.
That's a human thing, man. That's like beyond ethnicity, color, whatever. Yeah. That's just like a human thing, man. Like people will, okay, we get into a whole nother podcast. I'm trying not to do that. But the point is that it gets to the point where it's like me, my kids, or you're going down. Like people think the law stops you. Like these people are trying to fight for a better life. Like so I get the legal argument, but not everything legal is right.
No.
Right.
Legally,
slavery was legal.
Right. All of us used to be 3/5 of a person.
You feel me? That was legal. Like there's a bunch of things that are legal that are not right. Okay. But not getting into the whole slavery thing because that shuts a lot of conservatives down. They think like it's over with or whatever. But nonetheless, let's just talk about humans ripping families apart. Like it's nuts, man. So anyway, but that's a whole nother situation. And I guess, yeah. But I think you hit a nail on the head. Basically, leadership, having more representation, because having that diverse mind or diverse thought in the room can see a perspective because they deal with it themselves, the reality. Say, hey man, let's have this powwow for 30 minutes. Let's get it out. And if you're 83% white driven, and there's nothing wrong with white people being executive roles, but they see things from how they see it through their lens. You can't fault them for that in a sense. Does that make sense? But you can fault them from not like seeing like, hey, maybe we could benefit by having an African American woman because we just don't have that experience. We're not black and we're not a woman. So duh. Does that make sense?
And even if you want to get down to the dollars and cents of it, we see there's the business case for having diverse leadership and stuff. Because I mean, if you produce a product, I mean, a lot of us have seen the video. Black guy walks up to get to the soap dispenser, nothing comes out. White guy immediately comes up, there's soap. So I mean, that's a business case right there for having diversity. Because apparently nobody in your QA team
or the H&M shirt thing.
Yeah,
remember that?
Oh my gosh,
one thought of who in the right mind thought that was cool,
but
or didn't catch it.
I saw something interesting about that.
Because I shop there.
Because a lot of stuff I've heard someone throw out that a lot is even intentional now because it's outrage marketing.
Oh no, that's a conversation in itself.
Yeah,
wow, that's I didn't think of that.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like they're going to do
it on purpose.
Yeah, because you know it's going to generate outrage. Apparently, all press is good press. So then they throw it out there. They know we're going to react and be pissed off about it.
But H&M's on the lips.
But it's top of mind now.
Wow, that's pretty deep. Okay,
but going back to the products really quickly.
Yeah.
It's also important, like the business case, for a better product that works for everyone. But there's a lot of products that people don't even want to buy. People who are not specifically white or male or whatever the dominant demographic for that product is, don't even see a need to buy it because it doesn't work for them. And like one example that I saw that was interesting is the Apple Health app. When they first came out with the Health app, it was like, use your phone. You can have a calendar and you can track your steps and you can track your flights of stairs and your calories and this and that. And everyone said, that's great. And every single woman that I talked to said, isn't it super weird that there's an app on your phone that tracks your health in a calendar format and there's no menstrual data? Like, what's the easiest thing to track on a calendar? Like, that is very, very obvious to anyone who was not necessarily, a man who was in that room.
And it's ironic because I wasn't thinking of that, but then when you said it, I'm like, oh yeah, that does make sense.
Diversity.
There we go. So I just have to take ownership for all those males thinking that way, because I totally was like, wow, that is a good idea. But I wouldn't have thought of that. That is a perfect example of adding in the benefit of diversity.
Exactly.
That's amazing. Number 3 is more than 50% of employees at Apple and Google are still white, which is kind of not that shocking, quite honestly. I guess after all the other facts we talked about. But we're talking about the most influential leading companies. Apple, the biggest company. Google has to be right up there in terms of not only just money, but influence. Google it. Shit's a noun and a verb.
Yes.
Right? And I'm going to just throw Amazon out there. Okay? And I know the CEO and the founder has very good intentions, socially. He's very conscious. And I'm a huge Amazon-holic, so I ain't going to lie. I just ordered something this morning. Okay, so God bless them. I know Toys R Us, they're out of business, but man, I do love me some Amazon.
Too soon.
Yeah.
Hey, come on now,
Rest in peace, Jeffrey, man.
Yeah, you can say rest in peace, but you clicked enter for the 2-day shipping, didn't you?
Okay,
so let's be honest.
I gotta buy something from Amazon when I
You
get
know
back
what
to the
I'm
house, so I can't.
You know what? I think I bought something around when I posted. You might have seen on my profile on Facebook, but like the Jeffrey in his little to-go bag, and he got his vacation outfit on. But I was like, and I was like, damn, you know what? I love Jeffrey. I had was it Toys R Us bucks they used to have back in the day.
Man.
Toys R Us bucks. I love Toys R Us. Bought Ninja Turtles and G.I. Joes. But you know what? I know why it left. I can't be mad. I order it on Amazon and their return service is great. But outside that saying, I bet you a lot of us are in the shipping department, aka UPS, FedEx.
And that's
right? Think about that.
And then you hear that excuse is like, oh well, we can't find the qualified black candidate. Because it's like, man, you can build like these health apps. We can build Google, like, well, okay, Google or whatever now. Answer any question you want, but you can't find black people.
You can't find black people. Not only that, going back to resources, those resources that help fund the future tech leaders are in those schools and won't agree. Mm-hmm. Because they have access to resources, not because they live and won't agree. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? So if they want the same kind of thing and diversity of black people, etc., the next generation, they need to drop a few gems where the black people live. And it's not won't agree. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? What do you think about that?
Program, we were teaching at a school in San Francisco, and it was a computer science education program. And I said, "Great, this is going to be so great. We're going to get in there. We're going to teach these kids. Give them an opportunity that they wouldn't have had otherwise." And we got to the school, and the school was like super fancy, and everybody. It was like a bunch of. I was like, all these kids, their parents work at Facebook. Why am I here?
You're good.
Like,
You're
where are
good.
the kids who don't have this? Why are we coming to these schools? It was crazy to me.
Yeah.
That is extremely upsetting, but yet not surprising.
Right, and that's why I'm actually about to go to St. Croix. What's today? Saturday? Yeah, actually a week from today, and I'll be going down there teaching. To
beautiful!
Students. And a lot of those students got ravaged by Hurricane Maria and stuff like that. I got to go last year for 2 weeks, so I'm going to be teaching them, programming and stuff like that. So hopefully to expose them to something that they may not be getting exposed to, because
and by somebody that looks like them. Let's
exactly
add that
that's
to
the thing, because University of Saint, because it's going to be at the University of the Virgin Islands, which is, believe it or not, it's actually at HBCU. So I'm going there, and because the teacher that I was teaching with, he was white, but by them seeing me, someone that looks like them, and someone who's
totally different,
and who's relatively young.
You'll be there, Mr. Henderson.
Yeah, so
gotcha.
that's my hope, because we had a terrific time last year. I have stuff laid out for them. I'm going to try to introduce them to like cybersecurity. We're going to do a project on machine learning. So kind of some of the, we're even going to do an activity on blockchain. The backbone of Bitcoin. So try to expose them to.
You were talking over my head, brother. Okay, but I'm digging it. No.
So I'm going to try to expose them to a lot of technology that are like the buzzwords, and where people are getting funded millions of dollars and billions of dollars, to be honest, to build these type of things. So now showing them, hey, this is what's out there, and even just by you, because we're going to give them all Raspberry Pis, the $35 computers where they can come take home. So.
Oh, that's great.
So I was like, you're going to be able to do this on a $35 computer.
Is there a website? Just let's do a quick product job. Is there a website or anything about this organization or what you're doing? Because I'd love to share that.
So I'm just doing it, in conjunction with a professor at the University of Virgin Islands. So,
okay. So if they reach out to them somehow, they can get in touch with this program if they want to support it, or
they can probably reach out to me or Professor Kim Top at the University of Virgin Islands. So,
okay. How do they reach you though?
So do I
email perhaps?
Email, so it can be like show notes, but email is just at william.mj.hill@gmail.com.
Okay,
and I'll
great.
be able to speak about it, because all the materials are going to be open source and on GitHub. So I'm hoping that as we teach it there, we can then maybe take it to other places, whether it's here in the Bay, and I would love to take it to my native Mississippi. Because a lot of schools there are. I gotta put it nicely, underperforming. So,
to put it nicely, huh?
Yeah. So okay. I would love to actually take it back there, but it's going to be something that's just going to be open source. You can go there and download it, modify it for your own purposes, and it's going to be targeted for ages 13 to 17. So
influential.
And it can even probably modify for younger ages, because there's also going to be a Minecraft component with it as well.
Very cool.
All right. If you're looking for the hardware, it's also at raspberrypi.org. Pi is in 3.14. raspberrypi.org.
Very cool.
$35 for a machine that can.
So if somebody donates $35, they can help get a kid a machine?
Absolutely.
Wow, that's amazing. That is so cool. All right, you know what? If you guys send me a link, email me. I'll post it on our Facebook and share some info on our Instagram. That's amazing. All right, real quick. Number 4. Unfair treatment and turnover cost companies $19 billion a year. And I think you, Lauren, you kind of touched that at the beginning. Dig deep.
All right. Well, I've been talking about this just like day in and day out to people, but I always like to draw, like, just to go back to that, to draw the difference between diversity and inclusion, because you can have a very diverse group of new hires,